Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in and welcome to your 11th session of Book Clubs Across Borders. So as you all know that Afghanistan is currently going through a very dire situation right now, and they are not sure when things are going to go back to normal for them. So unfortunately, they won't be joining us. So that's why we're going to host these last two sessions between the students of Pakistan. So the book that we are going to be discussing today is In Other Rooms, Other Wonders by Danial Moinuddin. I hope most of you have read the book. Since it's a collection of short stories, you might have read some of the stories. Can you all please let me know if you have read the book?
Yes, ma'am. We have read the book.
All right, great. So who would like to start the conversation? Maybe we can talk about any of your favorite story, or you can talk about the whole book, whatever you liked about it or did not like about it. Hello, who would like to go first?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share my views on the book. I found the book very interesting. Like there were a lot of social issues that we maybe we are like hesitant to talk about, and there were some things. Some of the things were very new to me, and as a part of this culture, I was not aware of them. So there was a lot of learning as well in the book. One thing that I want to share with you is Husna's story, where KK is the hero, and he played a very vital role. But I think that shouldn't happen. Like a woman without a man, the concept is like.
Hello, Anam, I cannot hear you. Can anyone else hear Anam? Hello?
No, I cannot hear.
Yeah, Anam, I think we lost you somewhere in between. Can you please start from Husna's story? Oh, I think she disconnected. Anyone else who would like to go?
Yes, I would like to go. Actually, when I was reading the story of Nawabuddin Electrician, it was so, he had 12 girls, I think so. And he was also working with KK Haruni and all the stories. I think there were 8 stories in the story, and the whole story. And it was all interlinked by KK Haruni. It was the central character, I think so. So all the story was around the KK Haruni and their servants. So, and the strange thing was for me was the relationship between servants and other girls and etc. So it was very new for me as a as a urban culture I have. So it was really strange for me to know, because I didn't ever know this culture. And I would like to say the writer Danial Moinuddin, maybe he belongs to a culture like farmer culture, and I have heard in a video, I mean it's a YouTube video where I got to know about Danial Moinuddin. He is also connected with the farmer's life, I think.
Yeah.
So it was very great to know about the rural life, because we didn't ever thought about this life. So it was good.
Thank you so much, Alicia and As, for your views. So continuing with what Alicia shared with us, I would like to say something as well, that when I read the book, I really found it very eye-opening. That's what I would say. I wouldn't say it was very inspiring for me. I think it showed the very brutal and the very real face of Pakistani rural and feudal setup. So talking about a little bit background of Danial Moinuddin, he comes from such a setup. Even in the introduction of the book, and in the introduction of the author at the beginning of the book, you would have seen that his family, he belongs to a feudal family, they have a farm. And so in one of the sessions, we invited Danial Moinuddin in one of the earlier sessions, where he told us that all of these stories were inspired from characters around him. The people who used to work on his farm, the people who used to work for his father, and he observed their lives, and that's how these stories were written. And in fact, the story of Nawabuddin Electrician is actually, he's a real life character. He was actually an electrician on Danial Moinuddin's father's farm, and he actually got his bike stolen. But at the end, in the real life story, the thief didn't die, but that's how it was inspired from. So I think these stories, they show a very real and a very brutal face of Pakistani feudal system, that how these feudals, these lords, they monetize on such people, and then their lives get ruined at the end. So anyone else who would like to go and talk about any other story? Yeah, Anand, you can speak again now.
Okay, sorry for the disconnecting. My question was actually because of all these campaigns and things, are the things changing? Like, what are the ground realities? Because the people living there, they didn't have access in 2013, and that's when the book was written. But now I think the social media has empowered everyone, and the social media has the access to the rural areas as well. So what the impact is in those areas, and also now things are changing. Are they positively changing, or there are some negative things as well? And what are the ground realities? I just want to know about that.
So of course, none of us are expert on these ground realities. What we can say is whatever is happening around us. I think I can say for a fact that at least these conversations are happening now. So when I was at your age, I wasn't reading such books. I wasn't getting to know about the ground realities of Pakistani rural or urban or even social setup. I wasn't having such kind of conversations. So I think I would say, and as you also pointed out, that social media is also changing. Is also helping people in bringing out their voices into a larger picture. So I would say that yes, things are changing gradually, but these things, they take a lot of time to change. And some of these realities are so undigestible for some people that first of all that they will deny that these things actually exist. So I think it will take, I would say it will take some generations to make these changes happen. Anyone else who would like to comment on this? Hello? Hello? Anyone else who would like to comment on Anand's question and also on my answer?
Well, I think it's perfectly goes with your answer is perfectly fine because yes, that happens if change comes gradually. It's it actually I would say work for the betterment of the society, or otherwise whenever the changes sort of we accept we don't people when people actually don't accept the change, this happens that the culture of the society is at stake at that point. So I think Anam raised a good point and you answered well. Moreover, about the book, I think it was interconnected, it was neutral. I don't think the culture was represented well. And like one of his interview, the author said that he actually been raised in Punjab, and that's the reason he had this opportunity to write the book. His mother was an American journalist, and his father was from Pakistan, so that helped him a lot to write the book.
Yeah, and I would like to add on to this thing that it also takes a little bit of privilege to talk about these things. If someone is from such a social background that has been discussed in the book, it would take them a lot of courage. They will need a lot of courage and support to make such conversations happen. We can talk about these things. Even Daniel Moinuddin was able to write about these things because he comes from such a setup. If anyone else was talking about these things, he would have been criticized that, oh, you don't know what actually happens in these social setups. So I think, first of all, the change happens from starting conversations, from pointing out these things and thinking that, yes, these social injustices do happen and they are making lives miserable for countless people. And that's why the nation is declining. That's why the country is not progressing, because we are not taking everyone with us. We're not helping each other. So with the idea of social injustice in mind, there was a story in the book where KK Haruni's servant's sister gets burnt, I think, because I'm sorry, I read the book a few months ago, so I don't remember it clearly. And when the case starts happening, the judge gets bought off because the perpetrator was from an influential family. So I think these kind of social injustices, they happen on such a regular basis that they have become norm of the society. If someone does something wrong, there is someone out there who would know that he can help me out and get me out of this situation. So I think these things can only change when we start acknowledging such problems and we start talking about these things and we start pointing these things out that no, this should not happen and we should not let this happen. And also when we see someone who is not from a privileged background and they are going through something in which they need their support, we should rally with them and help them in getting out of that situation and getting the justice served. So on that note, anyone else who would like to talk about any other story or would like to give their views on the book?
So, ma'am, I particularly don't want to talk about any of the stories because every story was, as you said, eye-opening for me. But this book, this series of stories helped me to understand the concept of reality, understand the concept of ground realities that Pakistani girls and Pakistani people are facing in villages, in like rural areas, in urban areas. So this book was really eye-opening for me first, and secondly, this book was something that provoked me to think about all of these feudal systems and the women that we don't really talk about on our daily basis, that somehow we avoid talking about. So this really helped me in it.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, Amna. I would also like to talk about this, that whenever you are reading a book, what's your, I would like to talk about what's your process of reading the book. And if you are reading a book, and before we talk about our reading in this Zoom session, do you talk about these books from anyone else? And what are their views on this book or any other book that you have read in the past?
So basically, I am a born reader somehow because in my childhood I do read stories books, and then I moved to self-help books, and then I suddenly moved to novels and these kind of stories. So firstly, I just read the book and then I highlight the main point, and then I discussed about it with my friends, and then I just wrote about it somehow, the highlighted point. And then I just reflected, and somehow the sessions really helped me to discuss it with the readers, because we don't really find readers in our society. Readers are very rare nowadays. So I have an Instagram blog where I do share my point of views, where I do share my book reviews. But these book club sessions really help me to understand the novels, because firstly, before I really read self-help books, and self-help book was like, do this will benefit you in this way. But these kind of novels like this that Daniel has written, these are somehow really gave us the check of reality, gave us like these are the stories. Apart from this self-help books, like do this will happen to you. These are somehow our survival guides. Because in Pakistan, you don't have really such opportunities to do many things. And at that time, when you just has fallen or about to fall, these kind of stories are really going to help any individuals who is facing such situations.
So, Amna, would you recommend this book to anyone else?
So in Pakistani society, I read a lot of novels. जैसे कि इससे पहले I did read Ferals. It's in the part of book club. I also do recommend 40 Rules of Love, because from Alif Shafak. It's really helpful. I also do recommend The Kite Runner by Khalid Hosseini. Khalid Hosseini is such an amazing writer. Uh, I also recommend As the Echo of Mountains. I also recommend just like Amar Bell from Umaira Ahmed. It's in Urdu, but it's really amazing. It discussed about the bureaucracy of Pakistan. I also recommend Bano Kutsiya's and Ishfaq Ahmed novels, because these are the realities of our society, Pakistan. So when it comes to South Asian novels, there are so many, but I'll recommend to read the novel of have anyone of you read the book of Khalid Hosseini that said Sea Prayer, in which the bond of
It's based
the
on the
bond of
life
son and
of,
father is mentioned.
yeah, please keep
So
on
there
going.
are many, but especially like the author like Umaira Ahmed, Nimra Ahmed, they are doing so much for our reader society and novel society.
Thank you so much, Amna. Anyone else who would like to talk about their reading habits? And I was specifically asking about Daniel Moinuddin's book, In Other Rooms, Other Wonders, that would you like to recommend it to someone else?
Sure. The book actually talks about, since it's about the rural areas, and actually most of us don't really know about it, the ground realities. Talking about the habit of reading, I think I didn't get enough time in this year to read books, but thanks to book club, that I did get books, and that habit was still with me. I used to read books when it was quarantine and we had time. So it's more like I just read The Book Thief. I would really like to share one thing, that whenever I finish a book, I write a book review on the book, and after that I put it in an envelope and staple it, and after that I put it in the book. So it's more like it's the first thought you like the words are the I would say the pure feelings that you have written in the on the paper. So that really that's kind of a different feeling, and that reminds you of the time when you actually read the book, and you have the same feeling. So I think that's really good to have this kind of habit.
Thank you so much, Rafia. And I really admire your habit of writing a book review, especially in writing, and then, putting it in a stapled envelope and putting it in the book. And I think down the years, when you will pick out that book after a few years and you will see your review on it, maybe your views
Yeah.
might have changed on it after a while. And you will think that, oh, I was thinking about that those were my first thoughts when I finished this book. So that's really, I think it's very cute and admirable as well. I think I'll start doing this as well. I saw someone's hand raised.
It was me.
Yeah, please.
I
Please
just-
go ahead.
I just want, thank you so much. I just want to add in Rafa's point that we do hear about such news, but I think we just don't pay attention to the details, because every time in the news and the newspapers, there are headlines about the rural areas and the rights of women and girls to education and to many more things that we are privileged sitting here in a city. It's very I think sometimes I felt lucky about being here, and there are a lot of opportunities for me. There are thousands of possible ways to go outside, entertain yourself, and also to educate myself in many topics. Also, and I think we don't pay attention to the details, or that's the reason we don't feel connected to those stories, and we forgot them. Like it's like we read them and we forget them, because we don't consider it that's our world. Our world is what's happening in our city, and that's all. So I think this is something that we should think about, and we should consider it as something very serious. That's how change can happen.
Thank you so much, Anam, for sharing your thoughts. So one question that I always ask about our book club members whenever I'm talking to them, and whenever we talk about problems that our society is facing on a daily basis, and Daniel Moinuddin has pointed out so many problems, like differences between classes and our social structure, social injustices, and also the feudal system, that how it's ruining so many people's lives. And these feudals, they don't let people get education, especially those that are living in their villages. So one question that I always ask about my book club members is that what we can do as an individual on a personal level, what we can do to make change, to make a difference. It can be something very small, it can be something very high aimed, or something that you have thoughts that yes, this is my purpose in life. So anyone else, anyone who would like to answer my question first?
Can I go first?
Yeah, sure, please.
I think change always comes within. Like if you are not doing something good responsibly, and then you cannot expect change from anyone else. So there is a line that I always used to say in Urdu, which is या तो आप शुरू से सही होते हो या नहीं होते हो. So it's like a baby step. If you take those baby steps, हमें हमेशा से सिखाया जाता है कि झूठ मना ही बोले, do not lie. And if we do lie, which means एक दफा अगर करते हैं तो which means we will going to repeat that. So the baby steps are the main core, and are the principles and the rules that are set by our elders, and I think we should follow them. And slowly and gradually we're going to keep if we practice that, we'll definitely going to achieve something bigger. So these issues will not be there, maybe, and I wish.
Thank you so much, Anam. So yeah, Amna, I can see your hand is raised. You can go next.
So ma'am, there is a famous saying that the more reflective you are, the more effective you are. So if every individual personally reflect on his actions for not only himself, for society, and for a bigger picture, he can understand the world in a much better. Most of the time that we think that our action really doesn't matter for anyone, and we cannot bring a positive change to society. But what I personally think is that if we only grab garbage from the street or from our lane or from anywhere that is there, we can in this small sentence we can really create a big change. We can help a child to read English, we can help a child to read Urdu. We can just give our daily 10 rupees from our pocket money to a poor kid who can bring a pencil for it. So we can really bring a change if we really want to. But most of the time, on a bigger picture, majority of us think that we cannot do this. We are not such high-fi educated. We are not uh, how can I say that we are not that much privileged to help someone, or we are not very much in terms of like in terms of account, we have not that much money to give to someone. But what I personally believe is that if we really want to bring a change in society and touch lives, we can really do that. We can really do that. We can guide the students of second class to read more, to understand more. And the readers are very rare in society. They can tell a kid to the power behind reading. We can tell a kid the power behind the reflective thoughts he had in the night. We can help kids to understand the power of visualization, so that if we can play our little role, it might be a very 5 minute role for us, it might be very small role for us, but it can touch lives. We never know. We can inspire many people, we can inspire the people on daily basis, but we never know. But we can do our best if we really want to.
Thank you so much, Amna, for this very well thought answer. And I really liked the quotes that you shared, that if you are reflective, then you are effective. So I think it really touched my heart as well, that even though if someone is very reflective, people around him, like I usually get this a lot from my friends and from my family, that I think a lot. So, and for some people, it becomes a real problem, that they are thinking and they're overthinking their something that they want to do or the action that they are going to do. But I think it also there are very less people left in the world who actually think about something before they take action on it. So I think if we are left with even few people, few good people in the world, there's still something that can be done, which all the damage that has been done. I can see two more raised hands. Alicia, you can go ahead.
Thank you. Actually, I want to say that about change that you were asking. So I think garbage attracts more garbage. When I was working with the Egyptian fellowship in a fellowship, so the decision, the final result we got was garbage attracts more garbage. We were working on the garbage, like it was a fellowship. So from there, I think the wrong things attracts the wrong thing. Even if we don't want to change it, they want. So if we want to change the wrong things or anything, the wrong information, anything about the wrong things, so we can try within. If you want to try within, then we can change them as well. So if we are thinking that we can't do such a things, like if we want to change the rural areas things, and we are in urban areas, so we can't change them. But at least we have a book. Now, if I talk about the book power, if we read a book and someone else, it can be our friends, it can be our cousins and anything else. So we can give it to, because there are a number of people who can't afford books. And I want the people who have the authority to buy books or to read books, they can share with it, because the book knowledge, when the book knowledge transfers, it also have an impact on minds as well. Like the book we have read now, Another Wonder, Another Room from the Other Wonder. So it has also an impact to our rural life. So we can transfer the book, and whatever we can do, we can recommend to other as well. So in this way, we can also make a change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alicia. And I truly believe in this, that we should help other people read as well. We should, if we find someone, if we know people around us who cannot afford books, we should help them. We should help them buy books. We should even recommend them books and bring books to them instead of asking them to go and buy out that book. I also saw two other raised hands. I think it was Rafia and Anam. Yeah, Rafia, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I think the thing we can do right now is like we know that the servants, our servants, and these kind of people are the 70% of our population. So it's more like we need to consider them as stakeholders, that whenever we're talking about politics and any other stuff, so we need to let them feel included. Inclusiveness is of course a key to, of course, a progressive world. So I think these people need to feel inclusive in the circle, that they are the stakeholders, and actually they just need to realize their majority, that they are in the majority. And of course, when you're in majority, the change can happen and you can do it. So I think they just need to realize it. And if you can fight against the system, of course change can happen, and there are some good people, activists, who are ready to help these people. So I think that could be a way.
Thank you so much, Rafia. And adding on to your point, I think what people like us can do, what students your age can do, and someone like me can do. I always try to volunteer to such programs who are helping children in getting education. So I think, like one of you pointed out earlier, that even though we think that we are spending 1 hour of our day at such a place, at such a school where underprivileged kids are studying, we are actually leaving some impact on them, which is a lifelong impact on them. And we just think that we are spending 1 hour there and we have to get through there. And I think what we need to make people around us realize that we always have to give back to our society. We always have to give back to our planet. Because everything will circle back to us. So it's always good to keep this in mind, that we are whatever we are doing in this world, we are giving it back, and we should. And if we are doing it consciously, then we are actually making an effort. I think someone else's hand was raised as well. Anam, I think it was yours.
Yes, it was. I just want to add that in my family, usually it happens that a lot of things I've learned from my elder sister. So I think what we can do is it's not only our parents' responsibility to educate the children, it's our responsibility as well, because we are the younger generation and we are the future of this country. And we should consider it as a responsibility to educate our younger brothers and sisters to take part in such things and discussions, because I from the very early age in my family we used to discuss a lot of things with my mother, and she was always the one who make this happen. Like in the evening we all come to a point, and we always have a tea time, and at that point we discuss a lot of different social issues as well, which make me mature at very young age. So I think these healthy discussions should happen inside the family rather than in the groups, because there are things that on that can only that family can only like teach you in a very comfortable environment, because they are the ones जिनके साथ आप सबसे ज्यादा comfortable होते हो और ज्यादा चीजें share कर पाते हो. So I think these healthy discussions should happen in the family.
Thank you so much, Anam. So I have a question for you here. So when you were reading In Other Rooms, Other Wonders, was there anyone in your family with whom you discussed this book? And what were their thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think I would love to share the stories with my mother, but unfortunately she is not here. She's out of city because of some reasons. But I do discuss some of the stories with my sister, elder sister, and she made my point of view a little bit more broader, like the Husna story. Women are not that empowered, and I think that these moments can make actually the impact. there are some things like people are aggressive about that, but that's okay, because whenever the change happens, it's not easy for a society to accept that, to question their rituals, to question their like
Traditions.
sometimes I think patriarchy kills their patriarchs. So that's the main moral of the story. So that's where we conclude our discussion. So that was always like interesting, and I really love the discussions after the reading the book.
Thank you so much, Anam, and I'm so glad that you guys really enjoyed reading this book. I can see one of our participants, Isha Asif. You haven't said anything yet. Would you like to say something? Isha, can you hear me? Hello?
May I?
Yeah, please go ahead. I think, yeah, she wasn't able to maybe hear us and she, I think, disconnected. Or maybe she's just shy.
Actually, I think she's disconnected because I have WhatsApped her about 2 or 5 minutes before and she didn't reply. I think so. She has a connectivity issue.
Oh, okay. Rafia, you were going to say something?
Yeah, actually, I would highly agree with Anam's point, because I think for now what we can do is we all have children in the in our houses. What we can do is we can make serious conversation about domestic violence or social injustice as well. So it's more like when you discuss these kind of topics in your house, it's more like the children feel the responsibility that when we'll be 18 or we'll be having the nationality, when we'll be the officials. So it'll be more like it'll be our moral responsibility, and it'll be more like that as citizens we need to understand this thing, that whenever there's happening something bad, you have to raise your voice against it. So I think you can bring change from your own house. So that's what my point is.
Thank you so much, Rafia. Yeah, Isha is connected again. Isha, can you hear me? Hello? Isha Asif, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can. Sorry, I was disconnected.
It's okay. I was just saying earlier that we all of us have been talking and you didn't get the chance to say anything. So is there something that you would like to share about the book or add on to anything that we have been discussing? Or you can put it in the chat box. Isha?
Yes, like you were changing about the change, so we can just do this as we have some old books in our home, we can donate them to like for child that can't afford and someone who can't afford but can read and have a will to read the books. So we can donate these books to them so they can also get opportunity to read.
Thank you so much, Isha. And it's a really good point that you raised, that we should,
Thank
I was
you.
saying that everything works in a circle. So giving back to society, and because society is also is always giving something to us in one way or another. So I think even when it comes to donating something, it's not just about money. It's about, like you said, books as well. It's about supporting someone's education as well. It's about supporting someone's someone's life in a way that they don't think that they are being dependent on someone. So we can help them in becoming independent as well. Rafia, I could see that your hand was raised. You want to say something?
Just adding to your point that you cannot just help them someone financially, but at the same point you can help them if you're well educated, you can pass on your information to the person. So that's the kind of, I think in Islam we can call it the sadaqah jariyah. So it's more like, you just don't need to have money to support any other person, but you can support it in any way.
Thank you so much, Rafia. And since we are running out of time now, I will be ending the call soon. So anyone who would like to say any ending remarks, anyone who has some message to your friends in Afghanistan, the friends that you were connecting with earlier, your friends from Kabul, would you like to say anything to them so we can pass on that message to them?
Well, just a little message for our friends that we really miss them in this session, and we would love to know about the book and what they thought about our culture and about this book as well. So it's more like we miss them a lot, and we're hoping for their safety and stuff. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Rafia, and thank you so much, girls, for joining this session.